Apples. These delightfully crunchy fruits have been a staple of school packed lunches and Disney cartoon teachers' desks since the early 20th century. Here in the UK, we've been enjoying them as cider for thousands of years, but it wasn't really until the 13th century, thanks to the French's penchant for fruit husbandry, that the table apple, as we know it, was born. These days, there are about 7,000 different varieties of apple, either grown commercially or by enthusiasts, each with their own particular texture and flavour and scent and even colour. Some are suited to cooking, like the tart Bramley, others make really good eatings, like the Red Delicious, and some even are grown for juicing, like the ubiquitous Macintosh. Now, I have a little bit of a confession to make. I am actually allergic to apples. Yeah. Now, the worst that happens is that I get a fat tongue and get a little bit itchy, so don't worry. I always break my drinks down into 3 sections. Super simple, where no specific tools are required, mega tasty, where we might have to make something, and ultra fancy, where maximum effort is applied. With all this being said, we should probably make some drinks. But first, we gotta do some prep. So first up, we're gonna make an apple cordial to end all apple cordials. Start by juicing 4 or 5 limes and then passing that juice through one of those steel loose leaf tea strainers and set it aside for later. This is a Russet. It's an old school Victorian variety that has this kind of sandpapery skin that hides a delightfully nutty flesh that makes for a slightly sweeter than most juice that is killer in cocktails. Thankfully, the delightful folks at Duskin have already juiced Russets, which saves us a little time and a lot of cleaning up. So to make this cordial, to a Pyrex jug add 200 ml of cold pressed Russet juice, 50 ml of our lime juice, 9 grams of Malic Acid, and Malic Acid is behind the sharpness that's in a Granny Smith or Bramley apple. You can get it online or in specialist foodie shops. And 200 grams of caster sugar. Stir everything until the sugar has dissolved and then add in a little green food colouring to achieve that perfect gaudy hue that will stain your dress on a Saturday night. Admittedly, I did go a tad overboard here. It happens. Stick it in a bottle, label it, and leave it in the fridge for later. And whilst that's chilling, we've got just enough time to make our first drink. A drink called Apples. Now this drink is about as perfect as it gets, and shout out to Wonder Tender, Chris Moore, and Coupette Bar for bringing this drink into the light. So to a highball glass, add plenty of ice, 50 ml of Calvados, which is a delightful French brandy made from apple cider. Add as much ice as you can and top with apple juice. I'm using a single variety apple juice made from Discovery apples, which gives a slightly sour juice with a distinct strawberry flavour. Give it another customary swizz and garnish with a juicy lemon wedge. You will never find a more flavoursome glass of apples and ice. Alright, so back in the prep kitchen, we're gonna make apple whey cordial. This recipe calls on the Pink Lady, which is somewhat of a renegade in the apple industry, seen as the modern, trendy young thing. They're fairly bland in comparison to other apples, but they have a distinct flavour note. Lemonade. Start by adding a liberal sprinkle of ascorbic acid, otherwise known as vitamin C, to about 300 ml of cold water. This acts as an antioxidant and it prevents browning. Peel the Pink Ladies and add the peels into the ascorbic acid solution as quickly as possible, and then dunk the naked apples into the solution before chopping into 2 centimeter chunks, discarding the cores and popping the flesh into a backpack bag. Once you have 300 grams of peeled Pink Lady flesh in your bag, cover with 400 ml of whole milk. Seal the bag, set this aside whilst we make a Pink Lady apple peel tincture. So add 100 grams of your Pink Lady skins to a backpack bag, cover with 25 grams of Suze and 75 grams of gin. This is where a lot of the sour green bitterness of the apple is kept, so partnered with Suze and juniper, it sings. Perfect for the top notes of a bright spritz. Set up a water bath for 60 degrees Celsius. This needs to be on a very bare simmer if you don't have temperature controls. Add in your backpack tincture and milky apples. This is going to cook away for 6 hours, so they might as well get some rest. So once cooled, the apples are nicely poached, the milk has split into a somewhat baked curdy cheese and an apple-infused liquid whey, thanks to the acids present in the apple flesh. Pass the liquid through a coffee filter, and as always when dealing with milk whey, pass the first small amount back through the filter to get a clearer final product. This is going to be filtering for about an hour, so we can set it aside whilst we filter the tincture. Once again, once this is cooled, pass the liquid through a coffee filter and put the resulting liquid in a dasher or dropper bottle, ready for later. Phew, made it. Let's make some drinks. Who wants shots then, eh? Yeah, alright mate, loads of shots. Now, everyone remembers apple sours, right? If you don't, you're lying. We can do a better, elevated version that actually tastes like real apples and doesn't require you to brush your teeth afterwards. To a jar or shaker, add 30 ml of our luminous green Sourz Cordial. Seems though this is a shot, it would be a waste not to use the delightful Tapatio Blanco tequila. We're adding 30 ml, 15 ml of fresh pressed lime juice. Grab that dusty bottle of Cointreau and add 10 ml. Add loads of ice, shake everything until super chilly, and fine strain back into the small tin so we can easily pour into our novelty or souvenir shot glasses. This is the perfect amount of chinnable, not too boozy naughtiness without the stickiness of the original. Apple sours, but better. Cheers, vibes! So back in the prep kitchen, once nicely filtered, now comes the time to weigh the whey. And the next steps depend on how much whey one weighs. Weigh the whey. So to turn this delightfully round apple whey into a cordial, we're going to add half the weight of liquid in caster sugar, stir until everything is dissolved, weigh again, and add 2% of that weight in citric acid. Citric acid sounds scary, but it's actually what makes tang fastics so sour. Once the acid is dissolved, the whey cordial is ready to use in Avalon Spritz, which is a drink created by a dear friend and all-round legend, Alex Lawrence, in a recent collaboration with Hot For You, who are a pair of super exciting chefs here in London. In true Alex Lawrence style, its simplicity in execution hides its complexity in flavour. This is a batch drink, so start by adding 240 ml of Porter's Orchard Gin, which has apple, pear, and black soy notes, to 160 ml of our apple whey cordial. Combine both ingredients, bottle, label, and freeze for 4 hours. We'll come back for it later. So to serve this delightful drink, grab a stupidly fancy pre-chilled wine glass and your batch bottle. Add 1 fancy cube of ice and douse the cube with 6 big dashes of your apple skin tincture, followed by 65 ml of the Avalon batch and 75 ml of premium soda water. Shout out to Waitrose! The garnish here is a pressed elderflower cucumber. You can make this by adding cucumber slices and an elderflower liqueur to a sandwich bag and weighing down with some heavy books. This is stupidly rounded and moorish thanks to the added mouthfeel from the whey cordial. There is a delightfully bright apple energy to this that just invites more than one glass. This is the Avalon Spritz. Cheers. Okay, I didn't pass out, I'm not super itchy, I think I'm okay. That was apples. I think there's plenty more to explore here. We didn't talk about sour apples or even cider, so maybe we save that for another time. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe, and you'll be notified when new videos drop every week. And leave us a comment down below detailing the one thing you want to see us tackle in the future. But until next time, take it easy, be good, love ya. Bye!